Okay, so we'll just give some people a minute or so to come and join us, and then we'll just get started. Hopefully everybody has their air conditioning on. It's so hot and humid all over the place. Okay, so we're going to get started now. Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on today's webinar, where we will be discussing the benefits of automation in the retail sector. My name is Marisol, and I'm the Area VP here for retail at Process Fusion, joined with Daniel Cheng, who is our Chief Digital Officer, as well as two honored guests. We have Nicholas from Supermarché PA in Montreal, as well as Eva from Longo in the Toronto GTA region. So today we'll be discussing really how CapturePoint can improve the financial control and stability while reducing costs and improving data integrity. You will be hearing more about this from our two guests, and they'll be talking to you about how they have used CapturePoint in their environment. So I wanted to, my agenda. Okay, so the framework for today's agenda, really, I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about Process Fusion, introduce our guest speakers, and start talking to you about some of the discussion topics. It's going to be a very interactive conversation. We'll talk about challenges, workflows, and also some recommendations. And then at the end, please stay tuned for the end, as I want to be discussing the free consulting and a workflow optimization that we are providing for those that attended this webinar. So just a little bit about us. So Process Fusion is a software company and a solutions cloud provider. We automate workflows and business processes for companies that are looking to digitize their environment. We have been in business for over 20 years, and we continue to lead in innovative technologies to inspire organizations to really work smarter and not harder. We have 4 offices worldwide. We have over 10,000 happy customers, and we like to keep them and keep growing. And we have processed over 50 million documents. So a large number of paper has gone through our cloud. Under our PF360 platform, we have 2 products under our umbrella. One is the PF360 Print, and this is where we're automating the print infrastructure with print to physical or print to digital. We offer different options, really depending on the need, and we have had very great success with large organizations worldwide. And on the other hand, we have the PF360 Capture, where it streamlines processes, reduces manual labor, minimizes errors, and ultimately leading to some cost savings for the organization. Here's a list of some of our customers. I'm sure you can relate to some of these names that we have up here. And at last, I wanted to talk to you about our security and compliance. So, here at Process Fusion, we really take this we are very much committed to delivering the security standards for our customers. We have invested heavily in training and certification programs to maintain really the information security management that we can deliver to our customers and our partners. We are SOC 2 Type 2 certified. We get audited every single year on this. We are also ISO 27001. We are 1 out of 200 companies here in Canada that have this certification, as well as 1 of 1,200 companies in the US that have this certification. So as part of this, the ISO, the 27017 and the 27018 really also covers everything, all of our cloud services that we provide. We are GDPR compliant to obviously to help with our European customers, and HIPAA compliant to really target it for our healthcare customers in North America. So now I'm going to pass it over to Daniel, and then he can start talking to you about some of the benefits that we offer with AP automation.
Hello, everyone. This is Daniel. I'm the Chief Digital Officer for the company. And lots of people ask me, what exactly does the CDO do? They know what the CFO does. So as a CDO, basically, I work with our strategic partners globally to look at the benefits of digital automation at our partners' side as well as our customers' side. So we are here to talk about the benefit of automating AP, and we have two really good customers of ours from Longo's as well as PA Supermarkets here to share some experience with us. But at a high level, in terms of automating AP, we have been tracking AP automation for a number of years. So a study actually come from AP Metrics That Matter. They started the surveying executive at about 300 companies about what are the priority of AP automation. So in 2017, that is 30% of the executive being surveyed in 2017 saying AP is very important to automate. And when we moved to 2023, that number moved to 66%. So AP is one of the areas that a lot of executives are looking at as one area of automating to benefit the business. Next, Marisol. I'm not going to, okay, so I'm not going to read through this, but some of the key benefit of automating AP is really time and money. I think there are specific benefit within the AP functions, such as improve supply relationship, take advantage of early payment discount. But high level, when I speak with an executive, is really, can it save time and can it save money? So I can assure that from an AP automation standpoint, most of the customers that we have implementing the AP solutions will see significant reduction of labor, hence saving money, and also the speed of automating payment is also achieved as well. Next, Marisol. So here are some of the common challenges for AP. Again, this came from a study by Ardent Partners in 2023 called AP Metrics That Matters. So the biggest challenges, the problem that we're trying to solve are invoice payment approval takes too long, that approval process. Some are very simple, that really does not require any approval, should be straightforward processing. Some that's required multi-level approval. We want to understand who does what when in the AP approval process, rather than the approval process got stuck somewhere without knowledge, right, of the business, that approval got stuck. High percentage of exception that is being done by the AP departments. And of course, we talk about the one of the discussion we have is early payment discount. Particularly, we have Longo's and we have PA Supermarket here. They can benefit from early payment discount, and a automation system will allow them to prioritize payment that have early discount, and then basically they can make those payments earlier to take advantage of that 110, 210 payment discount. And of course, a question we often discuss is, well, how long does it take to process an invoice and how much does it cost to process an invoice within an organization? So basically, in most organizations, right, they would like to maintain certain cost in terms of the AP function. So automation allows them to maintain the same level of staffing, but able to potentially double the amount of invoices that it can process. Next. Yeah, I'm not going to read through this. Okay, so some of the key metrics I want to share with the audience is this. So for Ardent Partners that they went out to survey that 300 companies, manual versus electronic processing right now, for all the people that survey, 50% are electronic, 48% are manually being processed right now. The average time, and again, remember this, the average time to process an invoice, and this is of all the people that are being surveyed, all the companies being surveyed, is 10.9 days. And that's metrics that a lot of people are quoted out in the industry right now. So it takes approximately 10 to 11 days to process an average AP vendor invoice. the average cost to process an invoice right now, taking into consideration even the system cost of our solution, the labor cost, so on and so forth, is approximately $10. This is all in US dollars, $10 on average to process an invoice. The percentage of straight-through processing right now is 30% versus 69% that requires some type of AP handling. When I talk about straight-through processing is the invoice coming in matches the PO, and they're basically potentially matching the goods receipt, and hence it does not require a human verification of that data, and they can go straight to payment. So of all the companies, the 300 companies that are being surveyed, about 30% of all the invoices right now that come through can achieve straight-through processing. And ultimately, 100% digital, 100% straight-through processing is a goal for Eva and Nicholas. We are dealing with a transition right now to go pure digital, right? Ideally, I'm sure Eva will agree with me that ideally 100% is EDI. So there is really no data processing. All the data gets submitted by the supplier, it go into the system, and then the backend accounting system take care of all the payment detail, electronic fund transfer without human interaction. Unfortunately, the reality today is there are some EDI transaction, and there are still quite a number of vendor invoices are coming in through email, through faxes, through paper, that still need to be taken care of. Next, Marisol. So just a quick overview of our platform. Marisol kind of touches on that. And for Eva and Nick, when we start engaging with Eva like over 10 years ago at Longo, your system is called Capture Point. So we still calling it Capture Point internally, but our brilliant marketing leader want to turn the branding, consorting the two technology where we have, which is capture and print, under the process fusion of PF360 branding. So when I refer to PF360 capture, I was referring to Capture Point, and then for Marisol, right, when we refer to PF360 print, that was our unit print platform that has been out on the market for many years, including some of the largest health authority in Canada that uses our print platform. So if you admitted to a hospital or get discharged in hospital, there's a good chance that the output of your armband and the discharge document are actually coming from our print platform. So basically at a high level, the capture platform unified the physical input and the digital input into the core systems. And we will talk to our guests today about their core system. So everyone have a core system. So, to run their business, Eva has one, Nicholas has one, they have a different system. It could be SAP for you, or it could be as simple as a Microsoft Great Plains Dynamics in the middle. The print side really take care of the output, but one of the advantage of our output system is not only controlling the output to the printers, we also controlling documents that not necessarily need to be printed. So when we think about printing, we are thinking not just ink on a piece of paper, but able to capture the data of that print jobs and able to trigger a workflow on the downstream. So if I'm printing this document because I need Eva to sign and approve my expense report, for example, right? What if I just print it and automatically trigger a workflow to Eva for digitally approve that my expense request, and then basically digitally sign it and then went into accounting for payment. So basically we have a lot of technology that combine our really intelligent capture platform that understand what the documents is. And then we also have the output side. We understand what people are printing within our organization. We analyze those print jobs and then hopefully help the organization save some paper at the same time, automate some of the print related workflow downstream. Next, Marisol. Okay, so at this time, Marisol, you want to do the introduction or you want me to do it?
No, so that's fine. Thank you, Daniel. So now we're going to pass it over to Eva. Eva, if you have tell us a little bit about you and tell us a little bit about Longos.
Thank you, Marisol and Daniel. My name is Eva Kazemi. I am accounts payable manager here at Longos. I have been with the company for 12 years now. Actually, just last month was 12 years. It has been an amazing journey with this organization. Longo's, as you may know, has experienced an exponential growth, and I was just a big part of accounts payable and utilizing the automation provided by CapturePoint and Process Fusion. So definitely an amazing experience, and yeah, and we are not stopping. We are still growing, and we just opened store last week, and definitely opening a few more in the near future.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And then,
Oh, Marisol, you're muted.
Yeah.
okay, oh, sorry. Thank you so much. Okay, so now I'm going to pass it over to, okay, Nicholas, maybe do your
Yes,
little bit of an introduction.
absolutely. So my
Okay.
name is Nicholas Erimos. I'm the Director of Strategy and Innovation here at Supermarché PA. We're a local grocery store chain in the greater Montreal area. We currently have 5 stores. I've been in the company for just about 10 years. I worked in the company throughout my university studies, and when I came in, my goal was to automate a lot of the processes that we had in our company. A lot of the things were run a little bit more old-fashioned, and I think that our relationship with Process Fusion has greatly helped us get to where we want to get to. We're still not done. We have a lot of changes that we'd like to make in the future, but I think it's a good step forward. And I mean, I'm sure we're going to be discussing a lot of the benefits of Process Fusion and that we've gotten over time.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And now to the fun part, everybody. We're going to, like I said, just asking you some questions.
Yeah, so before I go to the questions that's on the screen, Nicholas, do you mind me calling you Nick?
Nick is just fine. No
Nick's
worries.
fine. Okay, so Nick and Eva. So Nick, you talk about you have 5 stores. So how long does it take to go from the first store to the 5th store?
It's been 35 years from the first store to the 5th store. I mean, it was modest growth throughout the years. I think that opening a grocery store is it's a lengthy process, requires a lot of labor. I mean, with 5 stores, we do distribution as well, and we have a head office. We're at almost 1,000 employees. So it's very labor intensive. It's a lot of planning. But it was a lengthy process, but I think that in the coming years, through automation at least, it's really going to facilitate the opening of new locations, because having a good infrastructure at your head office is critical in that. And I think that was where we were headed, especially with the decision to go with Process Fusion. So having a good infrastructure in the back end is super important.
Great. And then Nick, I never been to your supermarket, the PA supermarket in Montreal. Approximately, are they a small store or are they a big store? How big are they?
So we have a mix. We have some stores that are 10,000 square feet, and we have some stores that are 28,000 square feet, almost the size of a big banner chain.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it depends on where the store is located. We have suburban stores. We have stores that are in the city, which are typically smaller stores, no parking. So we have to work with the spaces that we have, but we try to tailor the stores to the demographics of that location.
Great. So same question to Eva. I remember, we were chit-chatting before the start of the event. I met the young, the Thomas Longo when he was still at university. So at that time, I recall it was 20 somewhat store when we first started engaging with Longos. So how many store Longo has right now, and where are they located?
So as I mentioned, they just opened their 39th store.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We are actually located in the GTA area, but it seems like we are slowly starting to expand a little bit, more north or east or west. There's actually a lot of people, asking our organization to open stores in certain locations. So we, for example, last year or 2 years ago, we opened a store in Ajax, which is just east of GTA, but there was a large population of people basically just waiting for that store to open in that area because there was not a store that kind of is similar to Longo's, and they wanted that store to be open there. So definitely this store is a big success. Like it's been doing really well since the opening, and yeah, we are actually again, like we've opened our 39th store, and I think there's one more coming this year. But definitely a great growth within the last, I would say, 10 years. We've opened almost 13 stores within the last 10 years.
Yeah, congratulations. And of course, for some of the people probably know that Longo's have also joined force with Sobeys. So together, I think you have the power to really grow the Longo's brand.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'll start with you, Eva. So what specific obstacles did Longo's face, right, that prompted you, your team, your predecessor to explore automation in AP automation?
So I guess one specific obstacle that often, prompts stores or organizations to dive deeper into automation, I guess it's the need to handle large, volumes of data, or in our case, large volume of invoices, and also handle them, efficiently and accurately. As I mentioned, Longo, has experienced the growth within the last 10 years, and we haven't added a single headcount to accounts payable.
That is impressive. And I saw on your profile that you are at approximately 25,000 invoices, vendor invoices a month. So that's equate to about approximately 300,000 a year, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I guess, I'm always looking for efficiencies within accounts payable, always trying to streamline processes. And definitely, when I was introduced to Capture Point, that was something that really triggered my interest, and I wanted to look into it, more into detail, and definitely that helped us a lot. And again, like not adding a headcount to to my accounts payable team, I think that was like one of the biggest wins for accounts payable for Longo's team.
So cost avoidance and efficiency are what prompted you to look at the solution in
Absolutely
10 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nick, you and prostitution had a relatively new relationships. So what prompted you as a director of innovation to look at the AP automation solution?
Honestly, I'd have to agree with Eva on that one. It's the same thing for us. As you have a growing company, you have a growing number of errors over time, especially when you process 2,500 invoices on a weekly basis. That's over 110,000 around invoices per year. And with that volume of invoices going through manual entry, there's bound to be mistakes. At the end of the day, we're only human. People make mistakes. And as you grow your company, right, if you have an aspiration to grow your company, your AP headcount is inevitably going to have to grow. Somebody needs to be manually entering these invoices. And by doing so, I mean, you're just increasing the number of mistakes. And mistakes can be very costly, at least in our industry. There's some invoices, very large invoices, you add a zero, you're paying your supplier an extra $8,000 or $10,000. So for us, we wanted to look at a more robust software that can handle a large volume of invoices and that has minimal error rates. And the errors that are made are somewhat predictable because it's a machine learning AI that has a predictable pattern. Whereas people don't exactly have a predictable pattern. I mean, fatigue can make you make mistakes on random invoices, and sometimes it could be costly to you. So that's really what pushed us to look for an automated AP solution. And I think it's proved to be quite fruitful for us in the past 3 years that we've been working with Process Fusion. And we're looking forward to continue working with Process Fusion going forward, especially through the new improvements that are coming.
Hey, thank you, Nick. Thank you for sharing your insight. Next question, Marisol. So the question is, how did that impact your business, and why do you choose CapturePoint out of all the solutions your team that had looked at? I'm sure you don't just go out there, do a web search, find cross-distribution, look at CapturePoint and say, that's the solution I want, right? I know, I recall, right, the working at Longo's, there are other solutions that Longo had also evaluated. And I believe, Eva, if I recall correctly, at that time, you guys are also changing your back-end ERP system as well.
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. So, do you mind sharing, why you picked prostitution? Is a little bit of course, a commercial for us, but honestly, tell the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Why you pick prostitution? Maybe it is the people that you dealt with, marital charm, all right? Why do you pick prostitution?
So let me just answer the first part of the question. So maybe, in terms of how did that impact your business? So basically, the impact was definitely significant to our organization. It definitely led to increased efficiencies, reduced cost, and improved accuracy. As Nick mentioned, like error entering, it happens, and we're all human, but it does happen. And that definitely improved the accuracy of entering invoices and all the data that we have. Also by automating this kind of like repetitive or time consuming process, it kind of freed up some time for my accounts payable team, and they had more time to look at the statements. They had more time to kind of engage with the vendors on more like a regular basis. Before, it was just there was no time for looking at statements or dealing with vendors or discrepancies. But now they actually had more time to do that and to build that relationship with vendors. And in terms of why did we pick CapturePoint? So I wasn't part of the initial talks, I guess, with Capture. It was more done by our IT department. However, I understand that, I guess the ease of integration as well as functionality were the key selling points, for CapturePoint to be a system within our organization. And from AP perspective, it is also the ease of use. This is something that definitely stands out for us, just how easy it is to use the system. We have new people, for example, or summer students sometimes coming in, and they're able to learn the system within a day or two. So definitely the ease of implementation, the cost, the maintenance, the ongoing support, those are definitely the selling points why we chose CapturePoint.
Thank you, Eva. And I think we heard it from over and over again from different organizations. The goal is not to reduce staff. Sometimes the goal is to give time back to the staff so that they can perform more meaningful tasks, right? You talk about the AP analytics rather than just doing data entry, right, Nick?
Exactly. Yeah, 100%.
A high value added task to the organization.
A lot less repetitive.
That's right. That's right. And again, I like the ease of use. I'm so happy with that. I'm on the product steering committee, and we look at the product. And one of the key things sometimes techie people talk about how great the technical element is, but sometimes in front of a user, I think the ease of use, the user experience, is what drive the success of the solution. We see those big ERP systems that can do wonders, but because it's so difficult to use, and people just don't like using them, right? So I'm happy to hear that, Eva, that you have a very positive ease of use experience of our platform. So over to you, Nick. So what impact of the business do you see, and then why you picked us?
I'd like to add on to something Eva said, especially concerning UI and UX. I think one thing that we really enjoy is the fact that the UI is very simple to work with. And another thing I really enjoy is the fact that the developers for Process Fusion are in-house because it's a proprietary technology. So the development team was able to customize our UI to exactly what we needed, which is very difficult to do for an ERP system because you have your ERP system and the people who are implementing or providing service for it, they don't own the software. So they can't make back-end changes to the software that you'd like. And that's what I really enjoyed. I like the fact that a lot of these back-end changes were made custom to us. So I'm sure that our interface looks nothing like Eva's. I'm sure it shares many similarities, but it's very different in that we chose specific workflows that worked for us, which is what I really enjoyed about it. And I mean, in terms of choosing capture point, I'm going to be honest, we didn't explore that many companies. In the beginning, we were looking at either EDI or an AP automation solution. And EDI, we just weren't there yet. You know, you need to be very well set up with a proper ERP system, have all of your inventory through there, doing all of your POs through there, and we weren't there yet. So a good intermediate, like middle ground for us. And for us, processing manual physical invoices is going to be a forever thing because we work in the grocery industry. We get handwritten invoices, we get physical invoices. It's inevitable. We're not buying electronics. We're not buying, we're buying fresh produce. We're buying meat. We're buying fish. So for us, we didn't have a choice but to have it's either manual entry or you have a solution that's going to automate that process. And ultimately, what we went with was Process Fusion. I'm really happy we did in the end. It's given our AP clerks significantly more time on their hands. And like you mentioned before, they spend this time doing more meaningful work, some analytics, and even they might be even helping out in operations a little bit. They might be doing a little bit of other stuff. So it gives them more time on their hands, doing less repetitive work. And now, I mean, all that's left for them to do is basically validation or verification. Everything is put into Process Fusion. And then now they're kind of sitting there making tweaks to either little errors that were made by Process Fusion but they're not doing the full entry themselves. And that's the big part. When you're doing entries and you're filling out the same fields over and over all day, I've seen it happen. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to put the date, you're going to put the amount as the invoice number. You're going to put the invoice number of the previous one because it's still in your head. Like, we're not robots. We can't be working perpetually at 100% capacity. And I think that's where we really benefited from it. Whereas you have a software that has no limits. It's software. It's mechanical, and it does things on a very standardized basis. And that's what we really enjoyed from Process Fusion.
Well, Nick, thank you for your trust and thank you for your insights.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
You did mention ERP, your backend system. So if it's not confidential, do you mind sharing what ERP system does PA Supermarket use?
Yeah, absolutely. We just went through an implementation of NetSuite, April 1st. So very, very new. We're still dealing with some hiccups and whatnot. It's a new ERP system for us. Before we were using, it was called Adagio. It was a more primitive, only an accounting software. So we made this migration towards NetSuite to have a lot more capabilities, especially in terms of automation and hopefully EDI at some point.
Yep. And then with NetSuite, you're 100% in the cloud right now.
Yeah, 100% in the cloud, which is even in terms of data security. It's just everything is stored in the cloud. You don't have a local server that if something happens to your local server, God forbid, you lose all of your invoices, you lose critical data that you have in terms of payables, receivables. Like this, it's very important information. So it was definitely a security issue as well that we wanted to address by going to a new ERP system. And I think that whichever system you work with, I think that what I like is the fact that we're able to import all of our invoices through a CSV file. You just need an Excel file, and basically any accounting software ERP system has the ability to import AP information. So for us, it was a no-brainer to look towards a more robust software.
Oh, perfect. And Eva, again, if it's not confidential, do you mind sharing your ERP platform?
We use Gold. It's called Symphony Gold, as well as Oracle Cloud. So Oracle Cloud is our financial system. Yeah, but Gold is used for.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Oracle also owns NetSuite, so
yes, we're both with Oracle.
Gold is basically Gold is used for inventory. Basically, all the invoices, POs, inventory management is used for that. Gold is used for that, and then it's being integrated into Oracle Cloud. every night.
Perfect. Okay, Marisol, next question. So, if you continue doing business as usual without the automation, what was some of the growing pain you would have expected to see? How would that impact your bottom line and profit? I think we kind of touched on that already, but I think quickly we can go over the question. So Eva, what's your thoughts on this? If you were to do it manually, I think your staff will grow. I'm pretty sure your staff will grow.
For sure.
Definitely, yes. I would have probably more AP, administrators than I do right now. But definitely, the several key growing pains would be increased workload, human error. I think we've mentioned that before. Inefficiencies, like those are the three that I could think of at this moment. Yeah.
Okay, and Nick.
I mean, it'd be the same thing for us. I mean, you open up, if your plan is to grow, which I believe any business wants to do. When you do grow, you obviously need to grow your AP team. So there's more data entry, more mistakes. Mistakes
right.
can become more costly, especially when you do centralized distribution. If you're buying for 10 stores or 15 stores instead of 6, well, I mean, these are larger invoices. So mistakes could be a lot more costly down the line. And I wouldn't be so sure that, every supplier would be honest with you to tell you, hey, listen, you overpaid this invoice, or it happens, these mistakes. And I think that everything needs to be controlled centrally. So for sure, our headcount would have been higher. Even since we started working with Process Fusion, we opened up a new location and we processed maybe 400 to 500 invoices per location and on a weekly basis. So these 400 or 500 invoices, we need somebody to enter these. And right now, I mean, Process Fusion has taken on the load because once it learns the format of a vendor's invoice, it doesn't matter whether you're processing 10 or 1,000. For them, for the software, it's just an invoice for that specific vendor that it's already learned through OCR recognition. So I think that's really where we've seen a lot of benefits. And if we continue doing business as usual, I mean, that's what it would have been. It would have been a headache to find AP clerks, yet alone AP clerks who are going to stay with you long term, right? You're working through your accounting software or ERP system, entering them manually. There's a little bit of a learning curve, and the ones who have been with you for a long time, they can enter these invoices super quickly. They've been doing it for many years. But then when you need to bring in somebody new, you teach them the software, and then 8 months later they realize, it's not for them. The job, they found a job elsewhere. Then you have to retrain somebody else. Whereas, working on the cloud and working on Process Fusion's capture point software, it's a much easier UI, and they don't need to learn how to work an ERP or an accounting software. It's really just, learning how to use Facebook or Instagram. It's pretty straightforward and simple.
Nicholas, if you don't mind me asking, was there any resistance from your accounts payable team to introduce this?
Look,
software?
in the beginning, there was. I did get resistance from the AP team. They liked manual entry, and not because they liked manual entry.
Yeah.
They liked the comfort of knowing how to do things. People are going to be resistant to change. Anytime you want to change something or impose any specific change, it's only natural for people to feel uncomfortable outside of their comfort zones. But even now, I talk to my AP clerks on a regular basis, and they all tell me, I'm glad we're using Process Fusion and I'm not entering it manually. Now I just have to verify what Process Fusion did. In the beginning, there was some pushback, but we worked through it, and it ended up working out that way.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. I'm sure you had the same issue.
I did. I have few very long tenured AP administrators. So for them, like any change was always like, oh, like they resisted it. But I guess the proper change management and like it kind of explaining what this will do in the long run, like that really helped. And now same here, like they just love it.
Yeah, that's right. And I think go back to Eva, your point is not to replace the job they're doing, but give them more time to do more meaningful tasks within AP function. I think
that was the message
that's really the key message. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's another thing, right? It's only natural for them to feel threatened by new software. They're saying, is this software taking over my job? Where am I going to be in a year?
That's right.
And I think that's also a concern. But for us, obviously we clarified that that wasn't the issue, nor was it a concern. The goal was for it to be used as a tool for them. It's meant to be beneficial for them, and for them to use this tool to their advantage. It's not meant to replace them. And I think in the future, which is as we open up another store and we continue to open up more stores, it's going to be the same team. It's going to be the same AP team we've had, and process fusion.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Look to Eva, they open up from 20 to 39, right? Same amount of staff, so that's good news. Yep.
That's right.
Okay, Marathon, I think is the last question. Next question. So basically, I think if we have a crystal ball, right, looking forward, we understand digital is the ultimate goal. As I say, as a CDO, the digital for all my customers, from banking to insurance to retail, digital is the ultimate goal. So do you foresee what are some of the key trends in the next 3 to 5 years where AP automation will make a positive impact to your business?
I think the increased adaptation of cloud-based solutions, that's going to be something that definitely, it has been an emerging trend for the last few years, but I think there's more and more, focus on that. And what, from accounts payable perspective, I think what this will allow us to do is streamline invoice processing, payment approval, vendor management from anywhere and any time, right? So this is definitely something that I foresee, that's going to be one of the trends within the next few years. The other one that I could think of is maybe integration of artificial intelligence. This is definitely a big topic these days, right? So,
yep.
But that could also help with data extraction, with making less errors or none with that, right? So I don't know. Those are the only two that I can think of.
Okay, and over to you, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, look, Eva being in the same industry that we're in, and I'm going to speak for my industry, and I think this applies to many industries. Costs have really been a growing concern, especially through COVID. Costs are constantly rising. They're not going down. They've always gone up, but not at this rate. And these costs directly impact profitability. So for us, not only right now we're using an AP solution, but using automation, and even just an example for process fusion. Eventually, what I want to be doing is vetting line items on our invoices to match the costs in our POS system. Yeah. So that, if you're off by 10% on your costs, working in an industry with tight margins like we do, that 10% can be big for you, especially when you're selling high volume items. So making sure that you're on the ball and that you know what your costs are at all times. And if they're not the same, well, somebody needs to flag that to you. We carry almost 20,000 products, 22,000 products. There's nobody that's going to be going through a product list, matching it up to a listing, a pricing booklet from our vendors. We deal with over 1,000 vendors. Who's going to be doing this? We don't have the labor for this to be matching this up. So I think matching this data, getting your costs, being on top of all your costs, making sure they're accurate. And if your costs are accurate, then your margins are accurate. And I think that's really where, long-term savings can be generated, other than AP alone. Because if you're on top of your costs, your margins are there, and at least you have some sort of predictability in your profitability. Whereas a lot of times, if you're all over the place and you don't know what your suppliers are charging you, they could be charging you an extra $1 and you're selling everything at cost and you wouldn't even know that, right? There's so much to be on top of, and I think that's where automation can really take a positive impact going forward, at least in the next 3 to 5 years, whether it be in the grocery industry or just in retail in general. I mean, I'm sure this is a concern for I have friends and people I work with within my network that have this growing pain as well, and a lot of them don't work in the grocery industry, so I know that it's an issue everywhere. And I think that it would stand to benefit everybody to kind of look for some sort of automation going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Nick, this is really good insight, and Eva as well. I think the platform give us data, right? Today we have the big data. Every single piece of invoice that went through our platform, the data is there. So basically, Nick, your high level suggestion of seeing that able to cross reference your POS data is that definitely can be done, right? We have the data. The key thing is the data is king right now, right? Data is the big data analytic is the foundation of AI, right? The data information lead to better automation. So basically, I like that idea. The every top of vendor relationship, absolutely. The having a better vendor insight into the AP processes will improve that relationship as well. So it's something that is, I can tell that is work in progress. The line item GL coding, automated GL coding based on machine learning is
And I mean, even for us, right? We have Process Fusion looking through the invoice. The AI is looking through OCR recognition at the invoice itself. All you're asking it to do is look at additional items.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I mean, the data is there, just not structured. And I think that's the thing for everybody, right? We all process invoices. We all have this data readily available, but it's not structured in a way that it could be interpreted by a machine. Whereas, at least having an AI that's constantly looking at this, you have the data. It's just a matter of structuring.
Yeah.
Thank you. Marisol, in the interest of time, we are 1:45 right now. Do you have one more question?
Yeah, I just wanted to see, and you guys have been wonderful. Thank you so much for all your input and feedback. We do appreciate it. Any recommendations that you would say to people that are thinking to look for automation?
I think the first thing is to, you have to really define your objectives and goals. You have to really see, okay, what part of my processes do I want to automate? I think this is something that definitely anyone, thinking of automation should start with. Because sometimes, you can look at the whole process and there could be like very easy, like 1 or 2 processes that can be automated. But definitely something that, you have to be able to narrow down exactly what you want to automate. The other thing that I can think of is just, user experience. User experience, as we mentioned before, is definitely, important for successful adoption of any automation. And you have to assess how easy it is to use it and access the information and all your data that you want to work with. So those are my 2 recommendations, but definitely I would do recommend automation of accounts payable from my perspective, from my experience, from Longo's experience. Definitely that was something that we are happy that we did.
Thank you, Eva.
Nicholas? I think even for employee retention, to add to that, I mean, it's a more enjoyable interface to work through. Sure. When you're working through like a clunky software and it's, you're doing the same thing, data entry on a repetitive basis, it becomes difficult to enjoy, monotonous work that's repetitive. Whereas now it's like a lot of my piece staff has seen like I've seen at least a newfound spark a little bit. They're more intrigued, more excited, and they take on more interesting tasks that make them feel, more valuable, more meaningful. So I think that's a big benefit as well. But just in general, I think any company who's looking to grow their business should be looking to automate their AP process. And I don't think it's ever too early to automate AP. And that's really where my recommendation comes in. If anything, I wish we had done it earlier, because the biggest learning curve at least with Process Fusion, was the initial learning process for the machine learning AI to learn the format. Like we processed 2,500 invoices, 1,000 vendors. You have to learn the structure of the invoice template for each and every one of these vendors. So if we had done it when we had 100 vendors or 150 vendors, and you onboard the new ones as they come in, it would have been much simpler as opposed to doing all the work that you could have done a couple of years ago after the fact.
Yeah.
And I think that, by starting earlier, it greatly reduces the initial setup time for process fusion solution. The bigger you are as a company, I mean, the longer it's going to take for you to set it up. It's pretty straightforward. But once we went through that initial setup process and, and we trained the AI sufficiently, that's where we really saw benefits. And it really sets the infrastructure for us, at least, for long-term growth. This is what we needed to do for us to be able to open up stores on a dime. If you have the funds and you can open up a store, it's great and all, but if your back office is not set up appropriately and you don't have the infrastructure to open up these new stores, it complicates things a lot, and that's really where our long-term plan of growth sets in. And it's good to focus a lot on operations because ultimately that's what's going to be generating profit for your company. But your back end is just as important. And I feel that a lot of companies kind of neglect that aspect of the business. Sometimes their business grows a lot more rapidly than their back office does. And it's something that's kind of left behind a little bit. At least that's what it was for us. And
100%.
and that's where I think that, automating AP can really be a benefit, especially when, it's a simple interface to use. And it's like, once you get past that whole learning curve, it's automatic. I mean, right now I don't even interact with process fusion software. I don't use it. In the beginning, it was a lot of maintenance. I had to be with the AP clerks, show them around, training the software. But after that, I mean, I don't get involved at all.
Yeah, no, I agree, Nicholas. I feel the same way. And just additional information for calendar 2023, we processed 103,000 invoices using process fusion. So definitely a large amount of invoices. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Okay.
to close up before I pass to Marcel, on behalf of Process Fusion, I would like to thank Nick from PA Supermarket and Eva from Longo's sharing the insight with us. Just to let everyone know, so of course we had a quick prep call prior to that. So I asked both of them about how long does it take for them to process a vendor invoice from receipt to ready for payment. The really good news is both of them gave me a number, and that is they are both able to, the minute a vendor invoice coming in to the time it ready for process and for payment, they are both less than 4 days. Some of them are even faster, right? So basically the best in class study right now is that if anyone, including anyone on the audience, attendees that can process an invoice in less than 3.9 days, you belong to the best in class companies in terms of AP automation. So with that, congratulate Nick and Eva. With the tool that we provided, you are able to achieve a best in class status. Absolutely. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Marisol.
Okay, again, thanks again, both of you. This has been very, very educational, and your feedback has been very important that you've been able to share with all of us here. So right now we're going to, I know at the beginning I mentioned about this optimization assessment that we have. So there's going to, what we're doing right now is offering some customers and potential customers half-a-day discovery of assessment. And this is part of our workflow optimization plant. We're looking to, the value is anywhere between 10 to 15,000, really depending on the organization. And if you are interested, please feel free to reach out to me. You're going to be receiving an email from me just in case, but all my information is here. So I look really forward to working with you both. I think we may have an opportunity to ask some questions from the panel, and I think probably maybe one. And can you, any of you can answer, Eva or Nicholas, what was the timeline of your AP automation project? How long did it take to get it set up?
Nick, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure thing. So for us, it took, I'd say, from when we were using, I mean, look, it took after about, I'd say 4 months or 3 months, we were using Process Fusion in tandem with our manual entry. And I think after 6 months, we were full on Process Fusion, no more manual entry. If very little manual entry, we still do some manual entry, but those are for separate bills that we don't receive to the stores. But I'd say 6 months is really the time frame.
To get
For
everything
us.
up and running. Okay.
Everything on board, beginning to
Yeah.
end, yeah.
And Eva, for you?
Yeah, I would say maybe a little bit less. I would say maybe 4 months.
Okay.
Again, a lot of work was done with the IT department as well, between IT and process fusion, and then accounts payable got involved, and that part didn't actually take a long time. Like, it was literally just showing us, you know, the software. I had to actually do a training session with my team. At the beginning, we had to like train some vendors, like just so the system is able to read the actual invoice. But I would say up to like 3-4 months, and we were up and running.
Oh, that's perfect. That's good to hear. Okay, well, again, I'd like to thank you both for your time today. We really appreciate it. And if there's any more questions, I will certainly be sending that over your way. And this is who we are. So Daniel, he's our Chief Digital Officer. You can feel free to reach out to him or reach out to me if you have any questions or you want to discuss this optimization assessment that we're offering everybody. So again, thank you everybody for your time, and have a wonderful day and the rest of the week as well. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys as well.
Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you so much, everyone.
Okay,
Take care, guys.
thank you.